Some other news this morning. Two top Republicans on Capitol Hill are criticizing the Pentagon's plan to cut the number of American troops deployed to Eastern Europe. Senator Roger Wicker and Congressman Mike Rogers, who chair their respective armed services committees, say the move jeopardizes the U.S. relationship with key allies on NATO's eastern flank. Around 700 troops with the 101st Airborne Division will be rotated out of Germany, Romania, and Poland as the Trump administration shifts its focus toward Latin America and Asia. The Republican chairman, right, in part, this decision also sends the wrong signal to Russia at the very moment President Trump is applying pressure to force Vladimir Putin to come to the table to achieve a lasting peace in Ukraine.
I mean, it is David Ignatius. Why, that's a statement straight out of the 19th century. You know, the Monroe Doctrine alive and well in Pete Hegseth's head. Unfortunately, the timing of it just couldn't be worse, as the Republican Armed Services chairman and the House and the Senate both said. You're doing this at the same time you're trying to push Vladimir Putin back in your... This sends exactly the wrong message, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does to Russia. My sense is that Trump really is turning our national security priorities upside down. Russia is an increasingly aggressive threat to Europe and, by extension, the United States. The threat in Latin America is limited. Even Trump describes it in terms of a narcotics problem that's not usually seen as national security. You know, we'll have to see whether the Congress can really challenge this. It's a fascinating thing that happened yesterday. I don't know whether you're going to get to it, but it deserves mention. The Republican leadership of the Senate Intelligence Committee was given a briefing on what the U.S. is doing with Venezuela in Latin America, blowing these drug boats out of the water, and refused to give that same briefing to Democratic members of the Intelligence Committee. The Vice Chairman, Senator Warner, is furious, and rightly so. That move breaks a committee that has been one of the few islands of bipartisanship. The idea that you can only brief one party about vital national security matters is just a new step, even for the Trump administration. And I think Warner is going to speak out strongly about it today. He should.
A lot of things happening at once.
It's just never done, Willie.
Yeah, this is Senator Warner's statement on this. He writes, quote, "Decisions about the use of American military force are not campaign strategy sessions. Mm-hmm. They're not the private property of one political party." That used to be obvious, Joe. Went without saying.
Right.
But now he has to say that out loud.
I mean, Richard, obvious up until now. I mean, they're blowing up boats. Even Republicans are saying, we don't know who's on those boats. And so they're deciding they're only going to bring... Again, this is at the height of the battles between Democrats and George W. Bush during the Iraq War. Right? You name it, whatever it was. The Intel Committee, again, there was no separation. That's one of the reasons why when Marco Rubio, he worked with Democrats to write that report, I believe it was in 2019, saying that, and he was on this same Intel Committee, worked with Democrats to say that the 2016 Trump presidential campaign posed an existential threat to counterintelligence efforts.
You know, when we grew up, we used to say that politics stopped at the water's edge. Now it doesn't even get to the water's edge. Yeah. Can't get beyond the Potomac. Right. I mean, this committee has been something of a sanctuary, or meeting very carefully, as you know, in secret, own special spaces. The idea that now it is being politicized this way it's just an awful thing. I guess I make a larger point also with the troops potentially out of Europe and the question about Asia. This administration, at least the Pentagon, is on the verge, it seems, of a major reset in American foreign policy. Remember, Joe, for years we would talk about the pivot to Asia?
Right.
What we're seeing is a pivot a little bit out of Europe, continuing. Not necessarily a pivot to Asia anymore. We're seeing a pivot to the Western Hemisphere. The greater use of the military here at home, the greater use of the military in the Western Hemisphere. This is enormously consequential. This is really a redirection of American military resources. This has got to be debated.
Well,
Just
I
to
mean,
say it's
and
questionable.
it's bizarre. I mean, you look, David Ignatius, at where the drugs are coming in from Central and South America. The vast number of them are not coming from Venezuela. The suggestion that you're going to stop fentanyl trafficking and the trafficking of cocaine and other drugs by blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela is just complete lunacy, and everybody knows it. Democrats and Republicans alike know they're lying. This isn't about a drug war.
But as Richard rightly says, this is about flexing your muscles in your own hemisphere. The Wall Street Journal cleverly described this as the Monroe Doctrine, playing off the Monroe Doctrine, which asserted that this hemisphere, North and South America, is our space and nobody's allowed to infringe on it. And Trump, as in so many other ways, seems to be moving back to the 19th century and those definitions of American foreign policy. At a time when U.S. interests are so clearly threatened in Europe by a very aggressive advancing Russia and in Asia by a growing Chinese threat, all this focus on Central Latin America is just hard to understand.
Yeah.
All right.